from a parenting standpoint, we just have to just figure out ways to raise humans that are adaptable and that are not going to be like up and down with
you're not
things
helping
that
us
like
at
come
all.
out.
Brother, you're not.
I
thought you were gonna bounce back with a speech, brother.
I don't have a speech. I don't have any sage wisdom.
That's insane.
Make sure that they're fed. Make sure that they're clean.
The bare minimum.
And read to them from time to time.
We read every night.
There you go. And then
and
love
morning.
them. Love them. Discipline them when they need to be disciplined, and just love them. And
wow.
They're going to raise up and be good humans eventually.
I'm getting tired of these world-class guys like yourself giving me the most basic, like, no, give me a speech, give me information, give me all of that stuff. But I'm going to leave it alone.
It's not there.
I know. I see that. They say you shouldn't meet your heroes, but I bet a few of mine. Today, why'd you just...
It's ridiculous.
They say don't meet your heroes, but I've already met some of mine, and I want to get this introduction correct. In the spring 2014, I'm at Fiddler's Penthouse, downtown Houston.
Yeah.
After we have our little community group, we're having a good time, and I'm with the boys in the kitchen talking shop. And this guy tells me that he just worked 70 hours this week. And he's feeling quite refreshed. And I said, 70 hours? And you're not tired, bro? What do you mean refreshed? He said, sometimes we're pushing 80 or 90. My number one question was, is this ethical? How could you work that many hours back to back and still be able to work on such important, high pressure situations? And this guy has the nerve to tell me, I want to be the best. I want to be the best in my field at what I do. So if I have to undergo trainings that's extensive and it's intense, I want that because I want to be the best. Today, I'm talking to a legend, a person who isn't necessarily motivated by external factors. His motivation comes from the inside. He's not competing against any other people in his field. He's competing against himself. So I want to extrapolate some of the wisdom in this guy's head. And then also, fast forward 2 years later, he goes to New York City to do a fellowship. And then he tells me, if I'm not mistaken, you had already did 13 years of school at the time. And I remember thinking, bro,
yeah, probably something like that.
Stop messing up my intro. Who wants to keep doing school this much? And Dr. Hugo reminds me, if I want to be the best in the States, I have to be the best in Texas. If I want to be the best in Texas, I've got to be the best in Houston. So I'm willing to put up with whatever I need to do to make sure that I'm helping people at my best. That changed my life. Because up to that, can you stop?
I can't.
Up to that point, no, this is all real stories. Up to that point, I used to only compare my career or my talent or my output in an athlete type of mindset as it related to how fast you can be, how strong you can be, how big you can be, how you're better than your teammates. But I had never heard someone use such athletic minded, such an athlete mentality in their work career. And they were passionate about it. They had a conviction behind why they did what they did. This guy revolutionized my thinking, and he's getting all the flowers today. I don't care if it makes him uncomfortable and he keeps laughing and messing up my intro. It's okay. Dr. Hugo, and I will not pronounce his last name.
Ihekweazu. Bam.
My guy. Before we get into the nitty gritty of being an orthopedic surgeon, which I really want to talk about.
Okay.
Can you talk about high school? Did you always know you wanted to be a doctor? Talk about high school and then obviously where you went to college. Listen, I saw your picture with the little puff fro, the mini fro, trying to be Draymond, trying to be an undersized 2'3", playing a 3 or 4 at 6'5". You not listen. You got to be a little bit taller to be in paint like that. But walk us through, bro. I really want to hear about like your high school, college journey, ultimately to what you're doing today.
Thanks for having me. So high school, I grew up not too far away from. I grew up in Eight Leaf, Southwest Houston. Shout out SWAT. high school for me was just straight up about basketball. I was a ball player, and in my mind, I was going to the league, even though I stopped growing when I was 14. So that put me at a really tall 14-year-old, but at the same time, being 6'4", 6'5", you're not going to the
You
league.
peak out, yeah.
You're peaked, right? So, but I was actually pretty good in high school. So I played on some very competitive AAU teams. I played on the Nike circuit with the Houston Hoops, and played with some future pros on that team. And my high school team, Westbury Christian, shout out the Wildcats, won multiple state championships. So
They were good during that.
Yeah,
No disrespect. They
during
were
that period.
very.
Yeah.
That's back when we used to wait like to watch 55 to Tube, or sometimes it'd be on ABC.
I was on
like,
there, yeah.
Bro, y'all would have like people like the stands, but then like the side, like behind the hoop, like they'll go dunk and you almost like run into little kids.
100%.
That era was crazy.
And pretty much every year for like a good 10-year span, we had like 2 or 3 guys that went D1, which is fantastic for a small private school.
Yeah.
So pretty much I didn't really study in high school. School kind of came easy to me. I actually made really good grades in school, but I didn't really apply myself. I just kind of listened in class, took a test, and usually would just ace the test. And that's kind of a natural thing. But I was focused on ball. So to answer your question,
Wow.
I didn't know what like my career or my life was going to be outside of basketball. I was just focused straight up on basketball. So it wasn't until I went to a camp, so Nike All-America camp, which is like this like top 200 camp in the country. I got an invitation to it right before my senior year.
Oh, you got invited.
Yeah. So I went. And I'm the same class as like some guys that are still pros, like LeBron, Chris Paul. You know, I think Rudy Gay just recently retired, but like there's like a lot of those guys that were like in that era. And so I went to this camp, and like I said, it was like top 200. I was probably like the 199th best player at that camp. Low key for sure.
Yeah.
And it really at that moment it kind of dawned on me that like basketball was not going to be my thing. And
No way.
There were people like, for example, for some of you basketball heads may know the name Adam Morrison. Adam Morrison is the guy that played at Gonzaga. Was like an All-American in college, and then he played for the Lakers for a few years. He was my roommate, and he was just like an average player at this camp, but he also happened to be 6'8" and was like a shooting guard, right? And so when you go to this environment and there are all these people that are, 2, 3, 4 inches taller than you, that are more skilled than you are, that are more athletic, you start to kind of figure out, all right, this basketball thing is probably not going to be for me. And then also the writing was on the wall based on who was recruiting me. At the time, I thought it was like people just like, not giving me a chance, and people, underappreciating my game. But it was pretty much like all the Ivy League schools were recruiting me, which is like the worst thing in the world for someone that thinks that they're an NBA player. At that moment, I started to kind of think about like what life would be like outside of basketball. But I didn't really think about the med school thing. I didn't know any doctors growing up. Like I didn't have any doctors in my family or like in my immediate family here in the States, or I didn't know any people that I could reach out to. So it wasn't really until I got to college that I started to think about what my major would be. Like,
No way, you go.
real talk. After my freshman year in college, I was home, and I knew for sure I had to kind of figure out what life was like where my major was going to be. I was always good in science, and I always kind of knew that I wanted to help people. And I remember someone saying that, well, if you're good in science and if you want to help people, then you should do something in healthcare. So that was kind of like on like top of my mind for like part of the summer. And I remember driving on like 59, like Southwest Freeway, and there was a billboard for Methodist Hospital, which had a black doctor on the billboard. And it was at that moment I was like, oh, maybe I should look into what being a doctor is about.
Wow.
And it was literally just a sentinel moment that like really kind of dawned on me that maybe I should look into what being a doctor was. I didn't know really what med school was. This sounds far-fetched. I didn't know what residency was. I didn't know how long it would take to be a doctor. I just knew that doctors kind of understood the human body. I always liked learning about anatomy. and ultimately there was an opportunity to help people. So that's kind of what it was. And it wasn't until college. I wasn't like my wife Faith. She was told that she was going to be a doctor from the day she was born.
Oh, for real?
And just kind of manifested that. And she's the perfect like pediatric gastroenterologist. She was born for it.
And just stayed with it.
You know, she stayed with it. She's brilliant. She like aced everything. She was like the studious person. Me, I was a hooper until like I couldn't be at the last second. And then it was med school at that. So that's I know it's kind of a long-winded answer.
No, not long-winded at all. I want to hear more.
That's where it came from.
I partly don't believe you, but it's your story, not mine.
It's 100% the truth, and which is why it's so powerful and impactful to have people from diverse backgrounds that like go into the community and like talk to people about what they do, and that's why it's powerful to have like podcasts like this because it gives people a platform to really show that you can do a lot of different things in this life.
Yeah, the story.
And you don't have to look a certain way, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So you knew after that, was that the same Nike camp? Was it in Florida?
No, it's in Indianapolis.
With who's the coach? Was it the coach for the 70s? What's his name?
No, this is like the giant. So Adidas has a camp called ABCD, or at least I did at the time, and then Nike's Nike All America camp, and then it is top 200 players, and then they just divide you up into random teams. So it's like a bunch of, it's probably like, I don't know, 20 teams or something like that.
Bro, you didn't get in that environment and be like, I don't know, Hugo, I have a hard time believing that you knew the writing was on the wall then. I feel like you were in that environment going like, I'm just going to work harder.
Oh, no,
like
100%.
I can play with these guys.
No,
like,
no, 100%. But it's...
Or you saw reality for what it was in a unique way.
Exactly, right? So I was competitive the whole time. I played my tail off every second that I was there. But at a certain point, it's like the kid that plays high school sports and they're on the freshman B team. They get lucky to get on the sophomore team, JV team, and then they sit on the bench on varsity, right?
Yeah.
They never get in the game for your senior year. At a certain point, you kind of figure it out.
But that usually happens after the high school arc.
Yeah.
You don't get invited to that camp. And I'm sorry, I'm not trying to argue with you about what happened because I wasn't there, but I have a hard time. That era of basketball was insane.
It's like also
it's like when
it's
AAU
like pre-social
was first,
media. It's like pre-social media,
yes!
pre-YouTube. So like
and one.
Yeah, and one was coming out around the same time. Yeah,
AAU had just hit that explosion.
College was different. College was
let's talk about college.
College basketball was different, especially like the style of play was completely different. I ended up going to Cornell just because I was told I should go to a good school, and Cornell was a fantastic school. And
Ithaca.
And fortunately, so the Ivy Leagues, they don't give athletic scholarships, but I was fortunate enough to get a bunch of grants for like need-based grants, just based on like household income, to have it to where like I didn't really pay anything to go to school, which was super helpful. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been able to afford it. But the style of play was completely different. If anyone's familiar with like the Princeton offense and Coach Pete Carrill. It's like very like orchestrated and like it's a completely different style of play. So there was a learning curve for me to kind of adapt to that. So it took a few seasons, but I did, and I sort of thrived in it at like during my last couple seasons. But when I decided to be pre-med, that's when
let's talk
that's
about
when
that.
it became real because for anyone and we have a lot of people at CLC that go the route of med school, which is pretty cool to see, like the younger ones, but being pre-med in college is like, it's a lot of work. It's an incredible amount of work. And Cornell is notorious for being incredibly difficult from a grading standpoint, especially with like the weed out classes. So the average, like they would weight the average score to a C minus. So if you were an average student at Cornell, you made a C minus on like your like intro courses, like general chemistry, intro to biology, organic chemistry, things like that.
Yeah.
And my first year on campus, I like struggled big time. Like I almost failed my biology classes and my general chemistry. The advisors were telling me like you shouldn't be pre-med because basically made like
You're struggling right
made
now.
like a D.
Yeah.
Like you shouldn't be pre-med. And so get into my second year on campus. That's when Orgo, for like a lot of the people that are pre-med or have friends that have been pre-med, organic chemistry is the one that like pretty much kills that dream. It kills that dream for everyone. But and part of my struggle kind of harkens back to what I was saying earlier is I didn't study in high school, so I didn't know how to study.
Yeah.
I wasn't really equipped with like study skills and like understanding like what it took to like actually do well on tests. So sophomore year, I started to kind of talk to classmates that I had heard through the grapevine that were doing well, and just kind of like pick their brain on like what they were doing and like how much time and effort they were putting into it. And that's when it kind of dawned on me that I wasn't being competitive at the level that I need to be at. And something within Orgo like clicked in me. It's very like pattern based from a chemistry standpoint, and I absolutely rocked Orgo. So I made an A in Orgo both semesters, and from there that just kind of improved my confidence. But the problem with studying so hard is that I didn't devote as much time to basketball. So from a quality basketball talent perspective, like my like contribution on the court like started to like drop, whereas like my grades were like going up,
Increasing.
which was, you know, in hindsight, that's a good thing. That's good for like life. Coaches weren't too happy about it, but I was like spending less time like practicing ball and like really just like studying.
Yeah.
So people say that you have time for like 3 different things in college, but there's 3 different things that like can take your time in college, but you only have time for 2 of them. You have like a social life, academics, and extracurriculars. For me, it was my like academics and my extracurriculars, which are basketball, and I did a bunch of other leadership stuff on campus. I didn't have a social life.
Really?
No. I was like constantly studying. I had a calendar, as you know. I had a calendar, stuck to my calendar. Like every day, I had like meetings at certain times, and then and then had practice, and I was studying up until like midnight, 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock in the morning, whatever it was, and then just like on repeat. But making that A in organic chemistry just like absolutely boosted my confidence because, that first year was really tough and I had no confidence in myself academically, especially coming from where I came from. So there weren't a lot of people that looked like me on campus, right? And, from an academic standpoint, you're competing with people that made like perfect scores on their SATs and all that sort of stuff. So it's like, do you have the confidence to like do this? And that making that A like really boosted my confidence, and that really taught me important lessons in terms of like what I was capable of. Just from like a mind standpoint, not just like a body standpoint from a basketball player perspective.
And that's the biggest thing that I've learned from you. We're gonna get into that. Gotcha. I gotta somehow get there. I don't know how I'm gonna get there, but like, were a lot of your teammates experiencing the same thing? Because obviously I didn't go to the Ivy League or anything like that, but like I would think that a lot of your teammates were going to be future doctors as well, and their programs were rigorous.
Yeah, so I had a teammate that was like on the cusp of being a Rhodes Scholar. He was just brilliant. This guy from Canada. We had some of my teammates went on to like Harvard Law School and like did other stuff like that, right? So no, we were surrounded by like really super motivated people, but I don't know. Like for me, I when you're between the lines playing basketball, it's just I don't know. There's 2 different worlds for me, at least.
Even at Cornell, though.
Yeah, it just seemed to be 2 different worlds. There weren't that many people that were pre-med on the team at the same time I was.
Okay.
So, and there's different colleges on campus, and you just kind of end up hanging out with your like immediate classmates because you're just constantly studying.
When did you meet Faith? Tell the story.
So,
I'm clipping this.
I am.
It's going on my Instagram.
Incredibly
for sure.
blessed. So, after college,
shout out to Faith.
She's a rock. So, the undergrad is in upstate New York in Ithaca. The med school is in New York City. So It was always a dream of mine to live in Manhattan, which was like, so Cornell is on the Upper East Side. So it was always my dream to live in Manhattan. So when I got into Cornell, I was basically going to shut it down. Like, I'm not doing any more interviews. I know where I'm going. And I don't know if it was my mom or if it was my older brother. I had a med school interview at Baylor. Faith was already in med school at Baylor. She was on the admissions team and was like one of the main coordinators for the admissions day for the interview day. Someone convinced me to go on this interview, so I went on the interview, and the first person I meet on the interview is Faith.
No way.
The first person I meet, I'm like trying to figure out like where the orientation meet and greet room is, and there she was. She was looking pretty good at the time. She was looking pretty good. I was like, maybe she can help. Maybe she can help. Maybe she can help.
Excuse me, miss.
I think there were other, probably like 10 other people that were also helping, but I just got, I slid over her way. And I did the interview and all that, and we just kept in touch.
Wow. And you went to New York City right after that?
Yeah, so
because this is during that 6 month period.
The interview was January 4th, 2008. That was the day we met. I had to plan to go to New York, and so we were long distance for a year.
Yeah.
And then she ended up moving up to New York to do her residency.
Yeah, but hold on. No, brother. No, I can't.
Yeah.
But hold on. You met her. Excuse me, miss, I'm looking for so-and-so room.
Oh,
so you found the room.
So what I don't know how it happens in the real world with because for doctors, we do med school and then we interview for spots, and then you interview for spots and residency and fellowship, so on and so forth. So I think our interview process is different from standard jobs, right, or career pathways. So we're told to communicate with students that are on campus, exchange emails, things like that. So, so I had her email address, and I had, other people's email addresses too. So I always kind of wrote emails saying, thank you for the interview. And, I have this question. Can you answer this question for me? And since I was living in Houston at the time, I was open to going back and doing second look and things like that. And she invited me to, she was studying for her boards at the time, and I was teaching high school, so I didn't really know, any other people our age.
Yeah.
So she invited me to come hang out at, I think we went to Main Event for one night because she was studying for her boards and wanted a weekend off. So she went to Main Event with her brothers, her whole family and all that, and her friends from school. And I just joined along. And then from there,
rest is history.
Rest is history.
Hey.
3 kids, 15 years of marriage. Yeah. So, yeah.
Brother got game. In other words, go to Main Event with her family, fellas. Man, I want to ask you about this, bro, because you have a mentality. You have a work ethic, and I've never worked with you, but you have a work ethic that I think most people feel when they're around you. How did you take your mentality in basketball or being an athlete, high school, college, however you want to put it, and how did you apply that to what you do now?
Yeah, so what's interesting is that I was pretty intentional about it after med school. So for those that don't know, the pathway of being a doctor, you do your undergrad and then you apply for medical school, which is 4 years long, and then you do something that's called a residency. Which is where you kind of learn how to be a specific type of doctor. There's many different types of doctors. So I was finishing up med school, and I was getting ready to do orthopedic surgery as my residency, which is what I chose, and I was very blessed and fortunate to what we call match into it. But I knew that it's a skill, it's a literal skill that you have to develop and hone and craft over the period of time. So I just kind of went back in time and thought about, well, how did I learn how to play basketball, right? And at first it was just hanging around in the backyard and playing with my brothers, and then I started to develop fundamentals and all these sort of things, right? And really become a student of the game. And learn the history of the game and all these things that are super important to being a devoted basketball player. And for me, I kind of went into residency thinking, well, if I want to be an elite surgeon, I should really just start out with the fundamentals.
Come on, baby. That's what I want to hear.
So it was just using this athletic mindset to really adapt to what I do now, which is I would consider to be athletic. It's a team-oriented career, and I'm literally using my hands to help improve people's lives, and it's a skill. You have to be physically good at this job, right? Otherwise, there can be some catastrophic issues that come
Absolutely.
up, right? So for me, it was just fundamentals, right? So like understanding the basics of like biomechanics, like what does that mean? Like what does a stress strain curve look like, or modulus of elasticity, or like all these like what is titanium? Like how does titanium work, or screws, or drill bits, and like different diameters, and like pitches of a screw, and like what does self tapping like mean versus like there's all these different things that is an orthopedic surgery that is like very mechanical.
Yeah.
And that doesn't even like begin with like anatomy, right? So you have to like really be obsessive about these things to the point to where, all right, I've got a foundational knowledge. Now let's start getting into the OR and start understanding like how to use my hands and like impact someone's life in surgery. And that's going to the operating room, introducing yourself to the lead surgeon, watching them operate, not doing a thing in surgery, and doing that over and over and over and over and over again, every opportunity, even doing non-orthopedic surgery, and like going to see cardiac surgery cases, scrubbing in with a urologist, or just seeing how people use their hands and interact with people in the OR. And then eventually you get to make an incision once, and then you don't for another 2 months. And then you just do it over and over and over and over again. And then it's the repetition. It's just like going to a gym and getting shots up, right?
Yeah.
And but with graduated responsibility. And over time, you start to pick up the skills, you start to develop the skills, you start to hone your own and like kind of make it your own.
Yeah.
To this day, and it's a lifelong practice of medicine, right? That's what we call it, practice, because I feel like if I'm not getting better, that's probably when I need to retire, right? So Faith will tell you, and this is funny.
This is that mentality I was talking about in my intro.
I watch film constantly.
On your past operations?
No. Like on like what we call film and surgery is like, and we're fortunate to be in a time in the era that we are now. Like we can watch surgical videos of like other surgeons doing operations around the world, and people share techniques and other things like that. I'm constantly like watching like surgical videos of just like surgeon in Singapore doing like some type of different technique for a knee replacement. Or
No way.
Faithful to, I'm constantly, I'm just like hanging out. So on my iPhone is watching videos, surgical videos.
Wow.
And it's just like kind of the mentality that people will talk about as pro athletes or NBA players,
100%.
elite players, saying they're constantly watching film and they're students of the game and trying to understanding the history behind it as well. Like, what were people doing in the 80s? Like, what worked, what didn't work? How come it didn't work back then? Is there something new that we have now that could make that philosophy or technique work now?
Yeah.
Right. So there's all these different things that kind of go into it. But it was a sort of athletic mindset in terms of learning the basics and then kind of building up on top of that really pushed me in terms of my training.
Do you have to do a lot of like research or publications?
Yeah. So in order
Or are you
to
not really on that at all?
No. So in order to be competitive when you're a med student and a resident to like get top residency programs, top fellowship programs, you need to have publications and be involved in research. For me, where I'm at in practice now, I'm pretty unique. So I run my own private practice. I'm part of a big group and part of an orthopedic hospital, but I'm my own boss. I have my own employees. I run my own, I'm an entrepreneur just like you. But I run my own practice. Hey, man. But on top of that, I enjoy the academic side of things. So I'm, some of you guys know I'm constantly on the road traveling, giving lectures, giving speeches or like lectures, at conferences, giving lectures. Just this past week, we've had 3 publications published in major orthopedic journals, like scientific publications. I'm involved in I'm on the board of the American Association of Hip and Knee Surgeons, like the national board, which is an academic organization, a group. So I'm definitely involved in like research and trying to push our field forward.
Yeah,
and that's kind of where. In addition to my like clinical practice and taking care of patients, I'm also heavily involved with some of the manufacturing companies in terms of developing newer techniques and newer technologies like robotics and navigation tools and other things like that for surgical applications to make surgery better. So yeah, yeah. So yeah. So I do all that too. Yeah, it's fun. It's good stuff. So one thing you'll find out about me and Faith. I mean, everyone that like knows me. I'm like super introverted.
Oh, I know that.
I'm like, oh, you probably. I mean, okay.
Oh, I knew that.
It's like obvious, right?
I mean, I wouldn't say it's obvious, but
Yeah, I'm like super introverted, so I don't like talking about myself. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Oh,
so,
why do you think I started the way I started?
Yeah. No. You're a pro at this. So.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean,
Thank you. I put in some hours, not hours like
I'm
you,
peeping
but
game. Like,
bro, I didn't. Man, you messed this. We've got to commit to a part 2.
Yeah, we can do a part 2
because there's no way. Like, I can't even stick to what I prepared for today. First, I'm talking about hoops. Because I remember one thing you said to me that blew my mind, bro. You were like the tools at Home Depot, like DeWalt.
Yeah.
And like drills. He's like, and you were like, no, literally that. I think you were doing like you were doing something with emergency room type of
so
things.
Ben Taub. So part of our residency.
Ben Taub, that's what it was.
Ben Taub. I love that hospital. It's a phenomenal hospital, and it does
Ben Taub. Yes.
Has such a meaning to the city of Houston, particularly people that don't have a lot, right?
Yes.
It's a trauma hospital. Takes care of any and everybody that comes through. When you're an orthopedics resident and you're on call, that basically means that you're the orthopedic doctor for the hospital for, a period of time. I'm not going to disclose how long.
Please. Thank you.
But
protect all parties.
For a period of time,
Yeah.
You're just on call.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes in the ER, like you might need to use power tools and to, do certain things to help people. And the power tools can just come from Home Depot. It doesn't have to be sterile if it's like an emergency. So it's not surgery, right? So yeah, I'll leave it at that. I don't want to like gross people out on the podcast.
I mean, I don't. As long as you're not doing
orthopedics is like it's funny. Like there's sometimes like I do a lot of surgery. I'm like I do hip replacement. So I do hip and knee replacements now.
Yep.
Orthopedics is from like any surgery, like any bone from their chin all the way down to your toes. That's like within the jurisdiction of an orthopedic surgeon. Mm-hmm. So any of those bones. So when you're in residency, you're like doing surgery all over the body. You're like learning spine surgery, doing ankle surgery, shoulder, hips, whatever. I specialize now in my practice just in hip and knee replacements. Yes. So that's all I do. But I'm doing sometimes I'm like replacing somebody's entire femur at times or like whatever it might be. So there are times when I'm like in the middle of a surgery. Sometimes the surgeries can go up to like 6, 7, 8 hours if it's like a big operation or something like that. And I've got like someone's like pelvis splayed open. And I'm like drilling into their pelvis with a saw or whatever. I'm just like, what am I doing right now? I'm just like, this is wild that I'm actually doing this. And then like you just okay, all right, well we're here. Like we're gonna finish this up. But yeah, it's there's some eye-opening experiences. I'll just throw one more out for you. When I was a first-year med student, the anatomy lab is just like open for the med students at any 24/7, right? And I remember I was studying for like some neuroanatomy final or something like that. And I just remember, and it's an anatomy lab, so it's like people that donate their bodies to science.
Yes.
And it's a big lab. There's like 100 students in my class. So it's like 2 or 3 students per body. So it's like 20, 30, maybe 35 bodies in the lab. Dear God. And I just remember being in the lab at like midnight and it was just me. And I was just like dissecting like a brain. And I just looked up and it was just like a bunch of, donors and me. And I'm just like doing this. I was like, what am I doing right now? This is wild.
Bro.
This is wild. Like this is not real life. And
so do you still have moments of that?
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like in surgery, sometimes like I would say like once every other month, and like I'm doing some big operation, I'm just like looking. I'm like, yeah, that's this lady's femoral artery right there. Just within a couple millimeters of my saw blade. Can't go there. Let's not do that.
Oh my gosh. I didn't prepare for that part, bro. Oh my God. Bounce back, Robert.
We
Bounce
yeah, we
back.
should like put like a disclaimer up or something like that.
Yeah, we're
just
probably
just like
gonna-
a this part of the podcast.
We're probably going to have to.
And by that, that's I mean, just don't scroll through my phone. By the way,
Oh no, I don't. I just saw
like photos.
dude. I saw a podcast of this guy. He's on Instagram, of course, where I consume all my content. He's an emergency room physician. What do y'all call it? ED?
Yeah,
ER,
emergency
whatever
department. Yeah.
Yeah. And he was saying like, "Hey, don't scroll through my phone ever."
Yeah.
And he was saying how his kids are used to
Yeah, the kids are
like
probably used
playing
to it,
with
yeah.
toys and like daddy's looking like at some open body type of thing.
Yeah,
And it's like nothing.
Yeah.
But to his friends, it's like, "Ugh," like,
Yeah,
what
yeah.
are you doing?
Yeah, Faith. It's funny. Faith is like it's always, and especially it's different for like people that deal with like trauma, like emergency
Yes,
docs or
100%.
orthopedic surgeons, trauma surgeons, like whatever it might be. Right? It's like you're like scrolling through like baby photo,
Yeah.
something that's not a baby photo that we're not going to talk about. And
Bro.
then baby photo is like, what in the world is
It's
that?
like, dog, how is that okay? And number two, why are you taking pictures on your personal device?
So yeah, I know. So communication is key, and like you're working with teams, and like sometimes like you may have someone that has a level of expertise that you need to reach out to. People are constantly sending me X-rays about things that they have questions about, literally all over the world.
Like in real time.
Yeah, people send me X-rays all over the world about stuff.
So they would be like operating on a person.
Oh
Or the
no,
patient
no,
just
no,
got-
no, no, not like while they're in surgery. If it's like an X-ray, it's like they're preparing for surgery. No one's like not during surgery, but like
still-
in preparation for stuff. Yeah, no, and I've been fortunate to be able to like meet people from different parts of the globe and like exchange contact information, that kind of stuff.
Bro, how do you handle the pressure of getting it right? Like, it's one thing to be a perfectionist in life, I guess, maybe outside of your career. It's one thing to be like, if you miss by half an inch,
Half an inch is a lot. That's like that much.
a fraction of an
way
inch,
too much.
like
Talking, we gotta say millimeters for us. Yeah.
if you miss by 2 millimeters, you could hit something that's extremely important.
no, you can. So you have to be a realist. You have to recognize that you're human. If you go into it expecting that you're going to be perfect every single step of the way, then that's just not a good look. And I go back to kind of like the sports analogies, right? Like Steph Curry, the best possible shooter in the history of the game,
Ever.
right?
No debate.
Best
don't
shooter in the
at
history
me.
of the game. Like if you're on the Warriors and like you know how it is. Like the coaches are like, all right, if you guys pick a teammate, if they make the shot, you don't have to run. If they miss the shot, everybody's got to run.
I'm picking Steph every
You're
time.
picking Steph every time.
Every
right?
time.
And
Yes.
if he misses the shot, you're like, well, we were meant to run that day.
Yeah.
Right?
100%.
Steph missed. He missed. We were meant to run. Right. This was meant to happen. And for me, I treat every single patient like they were my family. Every single patient. So like, there's we take care of people that are considered VIPs to people that don't have anything, and they're all treated the same for me. And I really want to be, and I consider myself at this point to be someone that I would let operate on myself, basically.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm long-winded answer to say, if you kind of go into it understanding that you have literally given that patient your everything
Yeah.
in this operation, and you like blanked out the world and you were fully devoted to the task that was at hand. And if it doesn't go the way we would have liked for it to go, I will go back and kind of question the systems and question my thought process and question like what happened and like why did we get there. But I never come away at this point losing my confidence in being able to take care of other patients and coming out of that scenario saying that it's like feeling down on myself, if that makes sense. Because I know that like I am truly trying to deliver a perfect result every single time as I can. And it's a really high bar to set. And the people I work with in terms of like the team and the people that work with me in the OR, like they all have that same level of like intensity when it comes to it. If you do enough surgery, you're going to have complications. Anyone that says that they never have complications in surgery is just a flat out liar.
Yeah.
So it happens, but yeah, like if you really go into it and feel that you are the best at this thing, if it doesn't go that way, then you know for the next patient that you're gonna really have an opportunity to do well.
But you aim for perfect every time.
Every time, and I don't think I've ever delivered a perfect knee replacement, even though my patients would say otherwise. But
no way, Hugo.
Or a hip replacement, for that matter.
Do you feel like? Oh, but is that just you? Like, is that just internal motivation? Is that just
yeah?
There's no way.
There's something that could always be a little bit better. And if you're thinking about in millimeters or thinking about in whatever unit of measure that you want to measure it.
Yeah, for sure.
Something that can always be better.
How do you develop that mindset, bro? That you can listen, let me talk to my people real quick, millennials and Gen Z and other people in my ecosystem. You cannot arrive to this type of thought or way of living without being internally motivated. It can't just be it can't just be money. It can't just be competition. Yeah. It can't just be because we want to grow revenue by blah, 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 blah. This has got to be something deep down. This is hardwired. This is talent. Me and my friends have been arguing lately, and I'm just going to stand by what I say. There is a modicum of talent it takes to be in the NFL. It's not just hard work. Yeah, so it's hard work and talent, but don't just say it's all hard work. To do what you're doing, it takes an incredible amount of talent, intelligence. You have to have some intellectual capacity to do this.
Yeah. Wow.
And it takes a relentless focus. A millimeter, bro? That's like the width of a penny or a quarter. Like we're talking like
yeah. I mean, we measure things precisely like even like the robotic platforms that we're using it like are like half a millimeter in error when it comes to things. Yeah, and
where does this come from, bro?
You just want to help people get back to the lives that they want to get back to.
Yeah, but you got a drive behind it, Hugo. That's different. This drive.
Yeah.
You got an essence behind this, bro. And you've been underestimating this since the day that I've met you. And I've never worked with you, but there are some people you can just see that if you put them in almost any if you quit right now and you had to become a petroleum engineer, I'm pretty sure if we came back like in 5 years, you'd be running Shell.
I don't know. I have this weird like
is it the
motivation dysmorphia syndrome? Probably. I feel like everybody feels like I don't know. I don't know. I'm like really I'm serious. Like I don't really.
Here we go, guys. Here goes the potential police. Everyone has potential. Anyone could do this.
No, I mean I think we all have things that we're like suited to, and oftentimes people don't really get the opportunity to like pursue things that they may be better suited towards. But I generally just really enjoy what I do. It is a true blessing to be an orthopedic surgeon. It really is, and I feel like I owe it to my patients to give it the best that I possibly can do every single time. So I mean, it doesn't seem like super novel, like or like I don't know, like it's just. I'm just
we're gonna keep on working on this.
Yeah.
We're gonna keep on working.
We'll keep developing.
We're gonna help the introvert articulate.
Maybe we can bring it out of me somehow.
Yeah. We're gonna keep hacking at this because this is not normal. This is not. I need to do a thing where I get like some of my number one invited guest. Period. I need to do like a panel with like some of my friends who went to the league. Some of my friends who are like the top in every different field that they're in, because I just feel like there's this thing that you all do, which I love. I appreciate the humility. I thank God that you're a team guy. Hey, how did we did it? How did y'all do that? We did it as a team. No. How did you did it? We did it. I get that. But I'm really curious about people who output such great body of work. But then when you sit them down and you ask them questions about solely them, they do what you're doing right now. So I need to figure out a way to do this because I really enjoy these conversations with top tier people. And everyone has faults. It ain't black and white. We're a mixture and
Yeah, I'm not perfect. No one's
yeah,
perfect.
and I'm not saying every your life is just flawless.
No,
It's
no,
not
no,
that.
no.
I don't want to insinuate that I'm bringing that as an option. But when it comes to the area of work, maybe I'll write a book one day.
Yeah.
Can't believe my time is winding down. What would you tell your 24-year-old self?
Oh, that's a great question. 24, that puts me, yeah. So, stop spending so much time at Sloan Kettering Hospital. You're not going to go into cardiac surgery. Just go to hospitals for special surgery and start doing research there. But that doesn't change my life really in any capacity. So when I started med school, I thought it was going to be like CT surgery. And I'm glad I did not decide that route because my job is incredible. But I would just say just stick with it. And, the thing I would say is also kind of don't assume that other people kind of know what you're going through, even your closest family. I hate talking on the phone. I hate reaching out, I don't know. I always felt like people would just get that I'm in med school and just understand that I was in residency. So if I didn't make it to a birthday party, he's studying, he's busy right now. It's okay. We're still cool. Sure. And I kind of took that for granted. I think I probably I put too much on people, and I probably should have been more intentional about keeping in touch with people and checking in on people. Everyone's going through a lot of different things, and we have family and friends and a lot of people that continue to go through rough times in life. And one thing, and it's something I'm still learning myself right now, but during that time we had people that were going through issues and marriage life and other things like that. And I probably should have been there better for them.
Got you. Super reflective. This question is rooted in love and not offense. Yeah. How could the people, including myself, never have to work with you?
Oh, never be a patient?
Yes.
Be a patient.
How can we never be a patient? Give us some tips.
Never get injured. What? I know, right? It's not good. Don't play college sports.
Wow.
It's too late for you.
That's two. I'm down and out.
But, what I would tell people is that we are blessed to live in a day and age that we do, right? Because patients that I take care of have the opportunity to live pain-free with a brand new knee or brand new hip for the rest of their life, right? So I would say live your life. Try to be physically active, stay healthy, balanced diet. All those things are 100% true. Maintain good, strong muscle mass, joint range of motion and flexibility, stretch. All the things that, I think most people probably know that they should be doing, but don't do.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's things that I try to remind myself and I struggle to do sometimes. But ultimately, we're blessed in the day and age that we live in, and things are just going to keep getting better. 75 years ago, if you had arthritis, you had arthritis.
You're
and
done.
That was it.
Yeah.
That was it. You broke your leg. That was it. All right.
For sure.
Be active, go outside, do all that kind of good stuff.
So you're pretty optimistic about the future.
Yeah. In some senses, yes. In some senses, no. But in terms of progress and research and design, R&D and medicine, I think there's continued momentum towards making things better for people's lives. I think ultimately most doctors want patients to not be on medications and to not have surgery, and to
100%.
not have to all do all these be in this like medical, like industrial complex thing, right? And I think ultimately we all want to connect with our patients on a deeper level. So go out there and talk to your Congress people so that we can spend more time with patients. Because right now it's just going the opposite direction. That's why you said, do I feel optimistic about the future? It's like, part of it, no, because it's like the way things are going is like, it's really hard to like connect with patients. And that ultimately that's why all of us went into medicine. It's like help people, and it's hard to help people when you can't like connect with them. But 100%. But there's progress being made. I think the way med schools are being taught are changing, and there's new gadgets. I get to like try out cool stuff and like robotics and stuff like that. Which is
Man,
fun.
could you tell us about something? Are you doing those non-invasive, or not non-invasive? It was like minimal invasive hip surgery. Yeah. It was like a robot arm, and it basically like made one incision and then.
So what we do in orthopedics is something that's called robotic assisted. I control the robot the whole time, and it's robot that works with bones. So the robot doesn't do anything with like cutting the skin or soft tissues or anything like that. But I do minimally invasive surgery, not cutting through muscles in certain approaches, and trying to kind of make the surgical process as comfortable for patients as possible.
How do you do that? I guess we got to talk about that another time.
Yeah, or it's just being in the anatomy lab at 12 o'clock at night.
Yeah, but how
trying
do you
to understand it
without?
There's ways around it. There's ways.
Career question.
Yeah.
When is it time for someone to move on from an organization or a company? What if they're a thoroughbred just like you? They're eager, they're hungry, they want to be better. They're not looking to be.
It depends. So like, there's like number one is the family, right? So like, where is your family, and what are the needs of your family? If there was any time or moment that my family needed something and it involved us not being where we are right now in Houston or something like that, I would stop what I'm doing without hesitating, like full stop. I think for me, it's hard for me to think about like organizations because I non-medical fields just because
or medical too.
Yeah, medical wise for me it was like if you felt like you weren't growing in your position in terms of sort of being your own boss in a certain way and being able to practice medicine the way you want to practice medicine. I think doctors are taught and behave like artists are in that like we ultimately want to be independent thinkers and practice and take care of the patients the way we feel is going to be best for our patient populations. And if you feel like there's some dissonance with that in terms of not being able to do that, that's where people start getting burned out and other things like that. So I think if that came up, then that's a reason to kind of move on and see if there are other opportunities.
For sure. Bro, that's such a brilliant question. I feel like I didn't learn that until I was 30, like probably 2 years ago. And that's entrepreneurial too. My journey has just been different. My journey has been very different where like, actually, if you choose family time now, you're messing up the next 6 months of income or structure or hiring or just milestone, all of that. Yeah. I've just really learned how I need to do things different. So I'm encouraged by your life. Did you happen to hear, you didn't catch a stray when me and Andy were talking? And then I listed out all these guys.
Yeah, I heard that podcast.
Okay, don't worry about that.
I remember if it was DeJuan's podcast or it was Andy's or not.
Oh, DeJuan's. DeJuan turns it up, and we had to cut a lot of it out. Doc.
Yeah.
Overrated or underrated? 8 hours of sleep each night. My final question.
That's a...
Come on, Doc.
I feel like that's a loaded question, man. So it's it's both. You should get as much sleep as possible, and you're supposed to get about 8 hours. But the reality is that, especially if you've got children and if you have, it's hard. It's hard because if you have got these responsibilities, you really need to tend to those responsibilities. So for me, I don't get 8 hours. I just don't, and I don't get upset with myself if I don't. Because I just don't. I can't tell you last time I had 8 hours. But
No way.
yeah.
Okay, we got a lot.
I you know, I like the kids have like I need like I got to be there for my kids. So if a kid wakes up in the middle of the night, that needs to get tended to. If kids need to be up early, or if they need
Stuff.
there's stuff that comes up.
Yeah.
If someone calls me about a patient in the middle of the night, I will always answer my phone. If someone, really, if anybody calls me, I will answer my phone. That's not a telemarketer. I'll answer my phone, and it doesn't matter what time. And you know, I feel like I try to get my sleep, but
Yeah.
I don't beat myself up about it.
And you said you hate talking on the phone too, by the way.
I do, but I'll
But
answer
he's
the phone.
willing to answer the phone,
Yeah,
y'all.
I'll answer the phone.
Wow. Dr. Hugo.
Yes, brother.
Cut. Done.
Thanks, man. This was good. We got to do it again.
Bro, there is a note. Come in.